Welcome to Knife Chats. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. National Knife Day was less than a week ago, and Smoky Mountain Knife Works was doing all sorts of contests online, and I was lucky enough to win one of them, and it looks like my box has already arrived. Let's go see what's in the box. Okay, as with most things you get from Smoky Mountain Knife Works, even just a regular order, I got my little swag bag, which has one of the nice little knife cleaning cloths. It's nicely wrapped in plastic right now. I haven't used this one yet, but you see what it is back there. And then the nice little sticker. I don't know how many of these my cat has decided to scratch off the wall, so I've stopped putting them on the wall, but I still have a couple of these and I do like them. I guess one of these days I'll have to put one on a place where my cat won't rip it to pieces. And then a thank you note from them, which we got everywhere, from Andy. And by the way, if you have not been watching Guys Talk Knives on YouTube with Andy and Jason, you don't know what you're missing. It's definitely a great show to watch. And we got our little koozie for our cold and hot drinks, and the 40th anniversary deck of cards. And I collect cards, so this is really terrific for me. I've got a couple now that I can use or save. So we got that for free just for placing an order. In this case, I got that just for winning a contest. And I always like the little swag bags that come with it. It's just a really nice touch. Okay, for those who don't know, what I won was the Classic Carbon series. And they all come in these really nice large magnetic boxes, which really look pretty cool. And they're a magnetic box. And we have in here the, let's see, what's the first knife in the group? Nicely wrapped in paper. And the first one out of the box is a canoe. I am not going to show every box, but I am going to show every knife. Let's look here. You got the slanted bolster with the R on there, the really nice Rough Rider diamond shield, and the canoe. Look at that, locks in the half stop. Little oil on the blade there. Nice little snap there. I believe these are 1070 carbon steel. Both blades lock. Tang stamp on the small blade. And we had it on the big blade too, didn't we? Yeah. And notice it doesn't say 440 razor sharp on the back. That's because it's not. It's carbon. And there we have the canoe. Set her down here and move on to the next knife. So let's see, next up is a looks like a 3 3/4 inch Stockman, a nice little serpentine Stockman, again with the half stop on the blade. That's kind of cool. See the Rough Rider there, opens up all the way. There is a little oil on the blade, so I've got to be a little careful while I'm doing this. Half stop there too, we can see the oil there too, which is good. I mean, you will usually find that on the carbon steel knives. They are all wrapped in the typical paper you also find in a lot of high-end knives. And nice little sheepfoot blade. Man, these are really nice. Notice the brass liners and brass pins, and really nice yellow comp. Really nice looking knife. Let's move on to the next one here. This is going to be tricky. I want to make sure I put them back in the right box, so I'm going to have to order them up away. Oh, all right. Now here we're talking major knife. The locking work knife, which is a copy of the old Case Sodbuster that was also a liner lock. Case doesn't make it anymore. This one doesn't have a half stop. No big deal. It does rotate all the way around. I'm going to get something and wipe it off. Yeah, but there you go. Nice little swedge on the top there too. That's really cool. Still got the RR there. I could have done without the shield on there, but I am not complaining. It's still got the nice bird's eye rivet and the really nice brass liner lock there. Man, this is a cool one. This is probably going to be one of my favorites in this line. Might have to get a second one of these. These are just so awesomely cool. I love the liner lock work knife, aka Sodbuster, and that's the full size one. Really nice and big, 4 3/4 inches long. Totally awesome. Okay, pretty cool here too. The 3 3/4 inch lockback, and again, nice little swedge on that blade. This one just rolls all the way around, and I think that might be what's going to be happening with all of them that have some kind of lock on them. But man, that's a really nice little knife, and good for the pocket, good for everyday carry. Again, 1070 carbon steel. See here, nice close-up of it. Really well made. Man, I just love that knife. That's cool. That's a really good one. And you can see no wobble in these things at all. These are really solid, well-made knives. So there we go, 3 3/4 inch lockback. Well, what do we have here? A big honkin' hawkbill. And it's even got a swedge on there. You see that swedge? That is really nice. Got the a lanyard hole in there too, so that's kind of cool. Pinched bolsters, I noticed that just now. They all have that pinched bolster, you know, the nice R on there. This one also locks, has the half stop going on, and then it opens all the way. And pretty cool. Got a few hawkbills. I actually do like hawkbills. I've got quite a few of them. Actually, I don't have a few. I have quite a few. The one thing that always gets me with a hawkbill is when they go around putting a nail nick in there. Who needs a nail nick with a hawkbill? But you know what? They all seem to have them. I don't know why. But man, that's pretty cool. And the half stop is also a nice little touch on that, so you don't end up cutting your finger off. Next up, we got a nice little Muskrat, so probably 4 inch, 4 1/8 inch, with your typical Muskrat blades. Hey, these even have a little bit of a swedge, so you know it's going to have both blades the same. And you notice it also has them falling into their own line, so there's a liner fully in between there. So that's like the improved Muskrat. I've got a video about Muskrats. You can check that one out. Maybe I'll put a link to it over there in the comments here. A Rough Rider, flip it around. A Rough Rider. The only way you'd know this is the front is because of the shield on there. But these are some of the more dangerous knives for me to close. They do have a half stop. One of the things I always end up doing is I close this one real quick and I still have my finger there, and then when I go to close this one, I nip the tip of my finger. So be careful with your Muskrats out there, boys and girls. Of course, anyone who uses a Muskrat daily probably doesn't have both blades open at the same time. So let's see, what do we got next? Oh, this is pretty cool now. It's a trapper. I don't really care too much for trappers, but this one has a lock on the main blade. So you got a locking clip point, and that lock is really strong, so that's good. And then you got the spay blade. It just rotates around, so this one does not have the half stop, but otherwise it's a pretty good looking knife. And for all those trapper people out there, you got a really good one here. Notice the swedge again. That's really cool. I like how they put a swedge on all of these blades. Got it up here too, if you can see it. Really nice. This one's right at 4 inches, so maybe a little over 4 inches, but there you go. There's the locking trapper. And we're what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Halfway through the group. Okay, I'm running out of room here. I'm going to just adjust this a little bit for the next row of knives. And first up, we have one of my favorites, the toothpick. In this case, a 4 1/4 inch one. So that's going to give us about a 3 inch blade on there. Again with the half stop. You can see the Rough Rider, everything here. Really nice. Triple ring bolster in the back. brass liner. Really cool looking knife. I might just have to order multiples of this one. I just love this toothpick. I might have to start carrying one of these instead of my 5-inch one that I'm carrying currently, because it's a little bit smaller. It might be a better pocket carry. Really like that 4 1/4 inch toothpick. Let's set that one there so we can keep them all in frame. Okay, next up is a one blade doctor knife. Case just came out with their doctor knife this year too, but this is just a one blader. Be great if it was two. Maybe they'll do that in the future. But there you go, a nice little doctor knife, 3.5 inches. I do love these slant bolsters they have going on there. You got the blade there. Nice little spear blade. Let's close her up. Move on to the next one. Well, you knew it'd show up eventually. My least favorite pattern of knife, but I am not complaining for something like this. It's a carbon steel trapper. Look at that. They got the match striker, double match striker pull on the main blade there. Got the swedge again. Got the oh, they got it on the back side here. Double match striker pull on the spade blade too. Pretty cool. And the Rough Rider is on the back side of it in this case. That's kind of cool. So a little bit different than your typical trapper, the way the match striker pulls are set up. Still a very solid knife, and I'm sure all those trapper fans out there are going to love it. This one's staying in this collection because I am going to keep the collection together. Why split it up? Even if you don't like trappers, sometimes you just keep one anyway, and that's one of those trappers I'm going to keep. Okay, next up we got a monster. It's a 5 1/4 inch folding hunter, 2-blade style. So you got that big clip blade, and I can't even keep that in the frame. Double match striker pull on that. Look at that wonderful saber grind on there. And then in the front of it you got the long skinny blade, or Skinner blade. Again with a double match striker pull. You see the oil on there too. Man, that's a big honking knife, and you can see it stops in the middle. A little bit of a nail breaker. It's a big one. Really good walk and talk on that puppy. Man, that's going to be a beauty. You could definitely do some yard work with that, or do some skinning and everything else in the world with that one. Again, 1070 carbon steel blade, and that's just a really fantastic looking knife, and that is definitely a very practical knife on top of everything else. I'm going to move these down a bit and get that one showing up here. So let's see what's up next. Ooh, bow trapper. I think that's I'm not sure if this is Andy or Jason or Brian who came up with this design, but it's a pretty cool looking design actually. I kind of like it. I'm kind of digging it, even if it is a trapper. Yeah, this clip blade and the handle, the way that's shaped, I can see that is very useful in the hand. I'd probably dump the spade blade, so if they ever come out with one with just a single blade, I would be digging that knife like you wouldn't believe. As it is, it's not too bad even as a trapper. Really cool knife. Kind of like that. And people who know me know I do not like trappers, so for me to say I like the bow trapper, that says a lot about a knife. And now we got a 4 3/8 inch Stockman. A nice little serpentine one. Little is the wrong word. Let me get some of that oil off here. Man, nice clip blade. Nice sheep foot. These all come well oiled, so I'm really happy with that. And then a nice bay. And these all, like again, they have that half stop. Works really well. Just a really good looking knife. What's really cool about these also is the yellow comp is very consistent among all the knives. Just kind of blends in there really well. They're all pretty much the same. Very happy with them. I know that one's going to end up in the wrong box now that I put it there. Maybe I'll put it there. I'm down to the very last one now, and this is one that I've been most excited about too. That brings us to the last one, the sleeve board Whittler. Ooh, look at that. You see that? That's a split back spring. We're talking class on a Whittler when you have the back spring split like that. It allows the main blade to work off of both springs, but gives enough space so that it falls in between the other two blades. It allows those other blades to be a little bit longer. This was actually an old case pattern, and then it turned into the Seahorse Whittler. So this looks like a short, fat, pregnant Seahorse Whittler with this wonderful Wharncliffe blade up here. You can see that pinch bolster again. Really nice yellow comp. Got the two back blades also with the half stops. You got a pin. What's on the other side? So, okay, you got two pin blades on the back, but they're a little extra long because of the split back spring. So what I'll probably end up doing is buying another one of these and taking one of these pin blades and clipping it off right about there and turning it into a coping blade. So I'll have a coping blade, a pin blade, and a Wharncliffe blade on there. But talk about a fantastic knife. And again, I mean, the attention to detail on these is just phenomenal. Things like the split back spring, the half stops, and everything else. These are just terrific knives. Anyone who is interested in the carbon steel knives should really take a look at these from Rough Rider. They are really solid built knives. Once again, I want to thank Smoky Mountain Knife Works for giving me the opportunity to win these knives too with their National Knife Day contest. Fantastic contest, and I'm glad I was one of the winners. And also, thanks again to Andy and Jason over there on Guys Talk Knives for what you do with all the videos that you put out and everything else, and all the knife information out there. You're doing more than just selling knives. You're actually educating people about knives, and you're also giving people who are not knife collectors a very positive image of people who do collect knives. Lets them know that we're not just a bunch of knife nuts and crazy people. And I really appreciate that from you. Again, thanks again, and thanks all you folks out there who are watching. I will try and do some one-on-one reviews of these knives in the future, but this is more than long enough for this overview of these 14 knives. Thanks again. Rough Rider fans have been asking for carbon steel blades for probably 10 years, maybe even longer. And so what happens as soon as they announce the Classic Carbon series, we all asked if our favorite pattern was in there. For me, that was the 5-inch toothpick and the Scout knife. Now, neither of those were in there, but hopefully they'll show up in the series later. At least the 4-inch toothpick was there, and that was pretty cool. And there's also several other knives in there that are definitely other people's favorites. Two knives that I thought were strangely missing, especially considering it's called Classic Carbon, were the Standard Barlow and the Granddaddy Barlow. I thought those two knives would be great in there too. So hopefully when that series expands from 14 to 18 knives, we'll see a couple Barlows, a toothpick, and a Scout knife in there. But now that you've seen all the knives that are in there, and what knife would you also like to see in Classic Carbon? After all, Rough Rider does listen to us, and it is a really cool series, and it would be great to see it expand. As always, thanks for dropping by, and remember, you're only as sharp as your knife.